What it do, compadre crew? It is your host with the most from the West Coast, SB Press, reporting live from Mastermind Media. And as always, to my right, Lance the Man himself.
Yep.
And also to my right, Joe Rosati himself.
What's happening?
And we have a special guest. I cannot say enough, but we're going to say a lot. Overly talented.
Say as much as you want.
Great guy. Very influential, good-hearted individual. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the talented Mr. Sean Clark. Yes. All right, compadres, and like that, let's go.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits.
Joe, would you kindly let the compadres at home know what time it is, brother?
It's the weirdo of the week.
You're weird.
Okay. Trying something new, but we got this, y'all.
Right, for sure.
We definitely got
I'm
this.
interested.
Okay.
So, who's tackling the weirdo?
I'll go first. So what we do on this, Sean, is like we find weirdos of the week. It could be positive, negative, or just weird things that happen.
Oh, this is right up my alley. Let's go.
Let's do this.
So everybody knows I bartend, and I don't talk about the establishment I work at for a number of reasons. But the other day, I had a woman come in with a ramekin. If anybody doesn't know what a ramekin is, it holds sauces. And she comes up to me and she goes, I packed this up last night and I'm bringing it back. And I'm looking at her and I'm just like, okay. And she also gave me the mozzarella sticks. And I go, what do you want me to do with these? And her answer was, well, I just wanted to impress my boyfriend that I brought it back. What the is wrong with you?
So she
made a trip back to give me a ramekin with marinara and the mozzarella sticks. Like, I'm gonna eat this shit.
Are you gonna throw them in the fryer?
I mean, dude, it was
Did
going
you heat
around the
those
whole.
up?
It was going around the whole restaurant. How, dude? That's I've been doing this a long time. That's got to be one of the strangest things I've ever dealt with ever. We're talking about a 35-cent piece of something you put sauce in, and she hands it to me. I'm like,
Wait, how far away from the restaurant was she before she came
I don't
back?
see. That's what I didn't get, and that's what I should have asked. But I wanted to impress my boyfriend, and she was like a middle-aged woman. She
Like,
wasn't him.
impress them how? What
Because
does that
she
mean?
brought
Like,
it back because she took it. Well, you feel bad because she stole it. Whatever
You're
the
gonna
case
serve
is.
those to another customer.
Yeah, we're not
after
gonna.
she takes
That's
them home
I can
and-
get. How you gonna give me the mozzarella sticks? Like, okay, hey, I'm gonna start eating this shit. I've been in your
Crazy.
car for a fucking day or
That's
whatever.
weird.
Come on, it was really weird. So that's
Yep.
mine for the week.
I like that, Joe. That's funny, man.
Now, did you heat the mozzarella?
No, I did not. That went straight in the trash, bro.
You didn't
Straight in
heat
the
them?
trash.
Okay.
Nah, straight in
He
the
said,
trash.
"Now, did you eat the
Hell
mozzarella?"
no. I don't like mozzarella sticks, anyways.
That's why I asked.
Hell no.
I don't think Joe's in there just garbage.
No,
Garbage diving.
I'm not a garbage guy. No.
Nah.
I'm not diving
Fresh
in no
batch
trash
for
cans.
me only.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe's a steak and lobster guy.
Yeah,
for
maybe.
sure.
Man.
Yeah, he has standards. He has standards.
Sometimes a nice pizza pie. Will get the
Yeah,
job
There you
done.
go. What you
Pizza
got,
pie.
Lance?
I didn't really have an experience of a weirdo, but I mean, we can go to social media and talk about a bunch of weirdos.
Don't fire away.
going on,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I probably. Where can we start? Who's been wilding this week, P?
No, I mean Charleston White's always wilding.
Of
but
course.
we covered that, and there's no need to beat
You know
a
what?
dead.
Actually, since we're doing
body
this
to
live,
death.
we're just bouncing. I'm going to talk about the people that are hating on Gilly the Kid and his situation. What just
There
happened?
we go.
Isn't that weird,
There we
man?
go.
For you, have you guys seen
Very
that? So let
much
me
so.
explain and
What's going
elaborate
on?
for people at home. So Gilly the Kid's son actually, got killed in Philadelphia, and he had a funeral a couple days back. And he was consoling one of his sons and discussing a bunch of stuff that was
right.
going on. And people on the internet, the trolls, all the haters, they got on there and were just dragging him down, talking about it looks suspect and he wasn't there for his kid and all these crazy things, man. It's just to me, man, and that's such a tough time to be dealing with for, all that backlash. So that's gonna be my weirdo for sure.
I mean, there's
Yes.
got to be respect when someone dies, bro.
right.
Well, yeah, it's like especially if somebody's going through real life shit like that too.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna double down on the social media insults. It's like
Right, and it's
I mean,
something
that's
that
gotta
we
be tough.
all go through.
Yeah, for
Everybody,
sure.
unfortunately, is living to die.
Right.
Not to scare anyone out there, but it's just like you're in those circumstances as well. So just pay the respect that you would want if
yeah,
you were
no doubt.
on the other end of that.
yeah, it's sad.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my weirdo would be this weird big contract that's going around the NBA.
I almost talked about that.
Seriously, like
Jaylen
Jaylen
Brown.
Brown. You know,
I brought it up to her yesterday. I was like, what?
I think-
And I looked at it, and she's like, what happened? I'm like, it's just like a pretty he's good, but not this good.
I mean, I think
no left
everyone
hand.
had the same reaction. Like, no one was like, he deserves it. You know, I mean, it's crazy. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's
I
wild.
would say he's
That's wild.
arguably not even top 10 in the league and getting paid better than people who won championships.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
talking he's annually getting paid more than LeBron James, Steph Curry, Joker, but which is going to make his extension
Right.
just go through the roof. We're talking about, you know, not even just like generational wealth, just changing lives for the next person, the next person, next person.
Right.
So like,
Yeah, shout out to a good agent.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what that'll do.
I mean,
Right.
so who do you
That
think?
wasn't Rich Paul.
Right. So who do you think is going to be the $500 million player or contract or $1 billion
it's coming.
contract? Who do you think it would be?
just depending on what the CBA is at that time and the age, because he has a teammate. He's not even the number one player on his team.
Yeah,
Right.
Jason
No,
Tatum.
exactly.
Jason Tatum.
Insane.
So
and he's getting that
and
contract.
and Jason Tatum's a year younger. So when his extension comes up, we can only imagine it's going to be
it's gotta
something
be the
about.
$500 million.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I'll tell you that kid from France that's coming in.
Oh,
that's probably
my
going to be your
gosh.
$500 million.
That guy's insane.
He is.
Wembanyama?
Well, we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. I mean, with the NBA, you know, and the way their track
record,
record.
Yeah.
And the way their track record with injuries, unfortunately, with these players, we'll see if he can stay healthy and he can do it. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
it's
he
a
is
different
kind of
game.
just like a giraffe out there.
Yeah.
He might
Yeah.
get snapped quick.
But
you know?
the international pub right now is just crazy too for
Yeah.
all the international players.
Hey,
and
I
stuff
love
like that.
international pub as well.
Hey, yeah,
Me
we
and
working
Julia
that. We
love
working
that.
that.
it is the truth though. It is funny though. Usually in like the first year or two, these guys get hurt.
Yep.
Every last Joel
Yeah.
Embiid, Ben Simmons, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and you just look down the rock. You know, you can go back to the '80s.
Yeah.
These guys, you know, get hurt in their first 2 years,
they're
just
done.
adapting
Yeah.
to the NBA.
And
so.
it's always like the 7-footers too, right?
Facts.
Because you got a lot of area to snap in half. Like,
Yeah.
But I'll also
so true. So
I'll
true.
also give you guys an example. If you knew what you knew about Steph Curry his first few years
Yeah.
of having the ankle injuries and knowing what his career
Yeah.
is now, would you still went down that road?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
there's
it's
certain
hard.
stories to where there's a lot of injury prone players in the beginning. Look at Joel Embiid who just
Yeah.
won MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's
Even
a
Zion.
lot of stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Zion.
Rose too had a lot of injuries. Like, dude, that guy
my
could have
guy,
been,
D.
yeah.
Rose.
that was the saddest one because
Yeah.
He
I
kept
don't know
on
if he'll
having
ever-
them and have,
I agree.
big ones,
He's
you know.
the only
Yeah.
hooper outside of Michael Jordan and Kobe that I bought hoop shoes.
Yeah. And D Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot coming from you.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. I was hooping in those zeros.
You got something, or you want to breeze, or
What, for
you have
weirdo
something
shit?
experienced, some
Weirdo
weird stuff this week?
I mean, I feel like any weirdo shit I would talk on should not be documented. Should not be documented for the broader
Right,
audience. You know?
I love it.
But yeah, let's go ahead and just scooch
You
right.
got it, brother. You got it. You got
We'll
it.
scooch over that.
got it.
And for the ComPODres at home watching and listening to this, let's dive into where you're originally from. Your family upbringing a little bit before we get into
Yeah.
the next segment.
Sounds good.
I'm from San Luis Obispo, California. It's about 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours north of LA. And I just grew up out there. Like pretty much most of my life I was playing sports, and then music was kind of like my outlet to all that because it was just nonstop. I grew up playing travel ball like my entire life, right? It's like
Nice.
I was going to the league, like that was a mindset.
Oh, man.
And it was like music was always just kind of like my complete outlet to separate from that. It was like meditative. And then I remember like I first started making beats when I was like 13 years old, and it was just like garage band shit. I was doing Fruity Loops, back when it was actually called Fruity Loops, not FL
right?
Studio.
I remember that.
And I started making beats, and then I caught this wave because I was at the very beginning of selling beats online. And so I got on this website called SoundClick, which everybody knows about now, like BeatStars, SoundClick, and everything. And I started posting beats on there, and I went at like 14 years old. I became the #1 producer on SoundClick. Mind you, there was only like
Holy shit.
maybe 500 to 1,000 producers on there at the time. But I was like sitting back and I was making thousands of dollars.
I was
every
say, don't
month.
water yourself down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Talk that shit.
I was making this money at a young age, right? So it opened my eyes to the possibility of like, this is a real career. This is what I want to do in my life, you know? And I just kind of kept running that. And then I had to fall back a little bit on the selling beats online thing because I started working with label artists and you can't like sell beats that you've been leasing. You can't sell them to labels. So I fell back from that for the most part. But yeah, man, you know, it's like I got to be probably 19, 20. My baseball career was kind of like coming to an end. And I was like, I'm just going to go full bore at this shit. And so, you know, me and James K, who you guys already had on, we kind of just were like, let's take the money that we have saved up and let's like go all the way at this shit. Let's move to LA. Let's open up a studio. Let's do it all.
So dope.
And that's, you know, we've been here like 7 years now.
So dope.
Shout out DJ Blanco, by the way.
DJ Blanco.
That dude.
That's our guy, man.
That's funny.
Boy,
Yeah,
my boy.
he is one. He's a funny man, bro. I ran into him the other day in the
he might
neighborhood.
single-handedly be the most charismatic person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
That's awesome,
I get to see him on an everyday basis, and it's dope.
Yeah, man. I mean, God, and I've known James since I was 9 years old.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
it's like, you know, we've been shooting the shit for 20 years.
Right. That's
you
dope,
know,
bro.
And I see him damn near every single day.
That's so cool.
Yeah, he's a good man. I was going to Whole Foods the other day and I just heard this Rosati. I'm like, hey, what's up, dog?
Slow.
Slow and the salas together.
And
That's
shout
why I had to wear the
out-
Bulls
Dude,
shirt, bro.
man.
You know, represent that, you
There you
know,
go.
that central coach thing today.
Shout out on that new music he's working out on.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
man.
dude.
That
He's-
clip he just dropped
But
yesterday, man.
he's
Fire.
really, really making some shit right now.
Yeah.
Like his pen game is just gone through the roof. It's fucking nuts.
That's
all
dope.
these new songs that he's about to put out are just like
Fire.
very, very good.
You guys definitely work some magic together.
This is a very
you, bro.
lucky man, right? James, this
Yeah.
girl, everybody.
Yes.
Man, you're
Yes,
around
ladies
some
and gentlemen, we
talent
have a
all
returning
day,
guest
right?
in the house, Miss Julia
I'm
Ross.
blessed.
She's behind the scenes right now.
I know.
Yes, return guest.
That's got to be cool, dude.
It's
And your
great.
talent, you know, man.
It's great,
dope,
man.
dude.
I got really good people
Good
around me. I
circle.
got a girl that I love to death, the queen, Miss Julia Ross.
There we
Right?
go.
Facts.
For real, for real.
Yeah, man.
And-
It's good.
That's awesome, dude.
How influential was your family with all this?
Like so supportive about it. You know, it's like my mom was definitely like the one that got me into it because my mom actually used to be a soul singer. And so she used to go and do cruise ship tours and everything and
that's cool.
sing like all through the 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s actually. And yeah, so she just like always had this thing of like she was the one that was pushing me into music. My dad was like real hard body like sports dad. You know what I mean? But it was, you know, to give him benefit of the doubt, he was still like very supportive of me, like having my downtime and doing music. He just saw it as kind of like a release thing for me, right?
Right.
So he's like, that's good. It's good for the mental and like it'll get him centered.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, my mom was really the reason why I like actually believed I could do that shit,
That's cool.
you know? So, and she bought me my first piano and like all that shit.
That's great.
I mean,
You still have it?
Shout out to mom.
nah, I don't
No.
still have
Well,
it.
those
have-
stories, aren't they? Because you know you were pursuing because your dad was baseball,
Yeah, right,
baseball,
right,
right?
yeah.
And I'm sure with your size and everything.
Would you
what
pitch?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Pitch
I was-
your first. That's 2 days in a row now, me and you, bro.
I was a pitcher, first baseman. I was I topped out around like 94.
Yeah.
But yeah, could not hit broadside of a barn. So that was kind of the big issue.
That was a big issue.
You just try to get glasses like, you know,
Swinging for the
wild
fences.
thing.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if I got glasses. Had nothing to do with my vision. It was more so just a skill problem.
Yeah.
Dude, hitting a baseball is the most difficult. They've
Well, I
already-
think-
It is.
they've
Yeah.
already-
I
they've
brought
already
this
waited.
up to her
Yes.
too. It's like,
But I
it's
think
literally
throwing it-
scientifically.
They've done the math.
But throwing it, too, and be on
Yeah.
point.
I mean, it's harder than hitting a golf ball or shooting a jump shot or any
Yeah.
of that. Hitting a baseball is
Yeah,
tough.
scientifically, the hardest thing
Yes,
to do in any
absolutely.
sport is to hit a 90+ mile an hour fastball.
I would say you know what you don't see anymore is a lot of knuckleballs. Those
Oh no, they're still there.
There,
They're still
but
out
there's
there, bro.
some
In a different
wicked
form.
ass
You ever
shit.
seen those guys
Those
throw out the
sliders and them
ephus?
curves when they drop 2.5 feet.
Oh yeah.
Those guys know what they're doing, man. They're
So
talented.
They have the knuckleball, which is the one that like goes
Yeah,
all
that
crazy
shit's
wherever.
crazy.
But then they have this pitch called the ephus, which is like you literally just like take it and you just lob it up in the air. And like if people can control that, it's like a 40-mile-an-hour pitch.
Yeah.
And if it drops down in the strike zone, people are like, "There's just no way to hit it."
Like
and there's
a
like
change up.
2 people like right now that can do that,
Throw that
shit
ball.
in the MLB. It's crazy, and
I wonder-
they'll pull it out like once every like 90 pitches or
Yeah.
some shit.
How many other pitches are out there that we don't know of?
That's crazy.
I've heard of that
illegal
because they
stuff.
did.
I
Because
know.
I don't think I think everybody's probably too young. But anybody see Brewster's Million
No.
with Richard Pryor? It's an old school
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
John Candy.
Okay, yeah,
The
yeah.
opening of the movie because he's playing for the minor league team. He does that,
Yeah.
and he can't hit it.
Reminds me of was it
Rookie
Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
When he
I was
does
gonna say
the
Rookie of the
flip,
Year
Yeah,
or
Rookie of
Angels
the
in
Year was the
Outfield.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year was
Rookie
the
of
shit.
the Year was the shit.
What was that? Dennis McQuaid? Was that what it
Oh
was?
my god.
No, that's the Rookie.
That is the Rookie, yeah.
The Rookie, yeah.
We're talking about that was
That was
I
the kid
forgot
movie. There was
yeah,
two
I
of
them.
think,
Rookie of the Year was where the kid
what's
had
his
the
name was in
arm
there?
thing.
Oh no, I do. Yeah, with the kid, and he goes in, he gets the magic like arm and shit.
Yeah,
Lethal
he
Weapon.
breaks his arm or something.
Has she, no,
and-
Glover, Danny Glover,
Danny
did
Glover.
Danny
Yeah,
Glover.
he was in Rookie of the Year, right? He was the
Yeah.
Angels.
Oh
in
yeah,
Outfield.
Angels
yeah,
Outfield.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
all
yeah.
over the place, right?
Was Gary Busey.
Yep, Gary Busey.
Ian Nicholas, who was also
Gary Busey,
Yeah,
bro.
the younger,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern, yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
up.
He went from throwing fastballs and everything to being an American Pie, chasing after it, chasing after it.
Those guys are set for life, though. You know
Oh,
that.
by far.
They get
By
residuals.
far, them and Jackass for sure. Like, passive Jackass. Just saying, and they're still adding on to it and adding on to it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our awesome segment called "Let It Fly."
Yes.
We're gonna
Let
throw
it
some dope ass
fly.
images up here. First thing that comes to mind, brother. Let it fly.
Let it fly.
All right. Boom.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
you know
guys
we had,
came out
we
hot.
had to,
Yeah.
bro.
You guys came out
I
hot.
got to hear this story.
I was about to.
I
but
had
I
to.
knew that somebody.
I sent it. I had to hear the story.
Yeah, so this was kind of like right before I moved to LA. I got in a fatal car accident. I was actually with my brother, my best friend, and then my brother's best friend.
Damn.
And we were being dumb. We were kind of like, drinking some beers and shit. And we went out and visited my brother, and he had, my brother's best friend. He kind of had this like big ranch. It was like property and shit, stuff that we weren't really used to. It was like, this is gonna be fun. We go out, and it's probably like 2 a.m. We had a whole bunch of beers and everything. We hop in this car, and we're like, let's go off-roading. And yeah, man. So we just like take this thing. We start going, through the property. Like we kind of go up on the hill, and we start just doing some crazy shit. And then all of a sudden, like I'm in the back right seat, right of the Jeep.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I remember like he tries to make a turn and like presses the gas, and the wheel just starts spinning. And I'm like, we're not going anywhere. And I can feel it. And I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, bro, it's just like light tunnel, right? I'm just like in the middle of a light tunnel. I'm like, the last thing I remember is just like looking over, and I see my buddy in the middle seat just like mid-air in this thing like anti-gravity almost, right? And then like, boom, just everybody ends up flying out of the windows. I mean, we went off a 300-foot cliff. And it had all these little ledges on the way down.
Wow.
But the very bottom point was 300 feet. And so I basically, I'm scalped, right? Like my shit got completely scalped. I had like a throat injury, like all types of weird shit. And I broke my neck, right? So I'm like laying there, and I remember like I kind of like come to a little bit. My brother has me in his arms. My brother had broke his back, but he found a way to crawl down the ledges to get to the ledge that I was at. And he like tourniquets my head. He takes off his t-shirt, wraps his t-shirt around my head so I don't bleed out. And he just sits there and just compresses it for literally like 5-6 hours. We were just out there, and it was freezing cold. So we're like, and there's no cell service. And we're like, didn't look too good for us, right?
Yeah.
Can't call anybody. We're just at the bottom of this thing. We're like, we're all gonna die, basically, And so he's wrapped up like this. I'm saying all types of crazy shit to him, just like, whatever. I was like going through blood loss. And my other friend, he comes out of the car, he flies out, he ends up in a tree. Like he comes to inside of a tree, just like and he's just like, what the and he had a lacerated trachea and a broken femur. And he gets out of the tree, And he comes and he just kind of like plops down. He's just sitting there in shock, you know. But he's close enough within distance of us, right? So there's no cell service, no nothing. I'm like incapacitated, but my brother and Miles are conscious, right? So they're like going back and forth, like, you know, what do we do? What do we do? My brother ends up taking my phone out of my pocket because it was the only one that had battery left. Because, you know, at first they were like, we're just going to sit it out and just wait until like somebody comes. But then they realized that wasn't going to happen. It was on like private property and all that type of shit. So nobody would have came.
That would have been the end.
And so he gets my phone. My brother just throws it up to the ledge that he was on, and just by chance it ends up landing on that ledge, like close enough to him to be able to army crawl over to. Grabs my phone, and he crawls with a broken femur and a lacerated trachea, crawls all the way up the entire shit
to get the service.
Because he, like I was saying, like, you know, the very, very bottom was 300 feet, but it was like we were on ledges that were like way higher up, right? So he's able to basically just like go up these ledges, probably like, I don't know, maybe 30 feet, army crawling over a course of hours. And he yells back down. He's like, I see a cell tower, like in the distance. I'm just gonna try to keep calling. And so he just is like pressing call, like SOS, 911, like whatever the he was doing. And he's just like literally crawling towards this thing, just pressing call. And then it like finally goes through. And we ended up getting airlifted out of there. I went first because I was in like the worst shape.
Right.
But they were able to like get a helicopter out there. And then they sent guys down to where we were at, like got me on a stretcher. And so I'm like mostly unconscious for most of this shit, right? And then the first thing where I actually come to, like I'm fully passed out, and they drop my stretcher on the rocks. So as they're carrying me up, trying to get me up, they drop me on accident. And I'm just like, it's like, ugh. And that's like how I came to. And then they like, the guy at the bottom like catches it basically and like puts his leg and like keeps me from going back down, you know?
Right.
So then I'm just like, I just go back into shock. I just go out again. And then the next thing where I came to a little bit is I was in the helicopter as they're about to airlift me out of there, and they're like sticking some thing on my dick. What is that? Catheter?
Yeah.
Right, like sticking that up there, and like, you know, they're just like, you're gonna be fine, you know, whatever. And then I remember like the cool, you know, all my brother and my best friend, they get lifted out of there after. But the most wild thing, and I'm happy I wasn't really there for this, like conscious, was my brother and my best friend. They were saying that they could hear for hours and hours. The only person in the car that wore a seatbelt is the one who died. And so they could hear him just screaming at the bottom of this thing out of the car for like 6-7 hours straight. And they were like, that kind of like them a little bit. You know? And so I don't remember any of that shit because I was just like in my own like world. But I mean, I ended up having a near-death experience during that, right? And so I just had this moment where it was like I was just completely euphoric. Everything went away, like all reality went away. I was like, felt like I was on like a DMT trip or some shit. And it was like I just started going towards this glowing ball and just like became it. And it was like I realized, I was like, oh, this is what God is. Like, we're all God, you know? And I just had this like super spiritual experience. It just kind of like just completely changed my life after that. Wow. And then, so the next thing I wake up to is I'm in a hospital bed and I'm getting my head stapled. Like, that's what woke me up. It's like stapled back together and shit. I'm just like, you know? My mom's over there and she's like, oh shit. Like, okay, he's awake now. And like the most beautiful thing I've probably ever experienced was my best friend, who I didn't know what happened to any of them, by the way. Right. You know, so I was like, I don't know if like who is still alive or like, what the happened. Right. And I just remember like my best friend's over on the other side, like behind a curtain, but I just hear him. He's like, Bicino, Bicino. And like I knew his voice, right? So I was just like, oh, like, thank God. Yeah. Then I start tripping. I'm like, where the is my brother? Where the is my brother? Where is he? Where is he? And it's like, he's at the other hospital. You know, they flew me into Fresno Trauma. And, man, like that experience, bro, I stayed there for quite a while in the hospital. And like I just remember like they had me next to this dude who had gotten stabbed. It was because it was trauma unit, right? So they're putting me in with people that just like the worst shit that have gunshots, stabbed. Put me in, this guy got stabbed up. And I don't know if this was like a hallucination or whatever it was, but they turned the lights off and I'm just in there with this guy. And it was like nighttime. And I can't move. I'm fucking just like sitting there stuck. And I just hear this guy, like, it literally sounds like the devil is like talking to me. And like, I'm not like a religious guy, like
Right,
that,
right,
like
right,
I'm
right,
spiritual
right.
guy, but it was like the scariest voice I've ever heard in my life. And it's just like, I would see a voice, have saw, even about like that type of shit.
It's like, you sound like Sizer.
speaking
Don't
in
say
tongues.
words.
I mean, bro, it was, and so I start just pressing this button, the assistance button,
Hell
and
yeah.
like nobody's coming for like 25, 30 minutes. So I'm just sitting in there, just fucking losing my mind, just like pressing this, like I'm about to get killed by whatever the this is.
Right.
And he was like shackled to the bed and shit. Like,
Oh, of course, you probably
I mean, so whatever that was, I don't know, but that
That's
shit was
crazy.
fucking insane.
Bro, that's probably one of the most intense stories I've heard in a long
on this
time.
podcast.
On this
Absolutely.
podcast for sure.
You almost
And,
seemed
but
like you
just
was
in
about to
general.
witness the exorcism.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Like
Yeah.
shit. That's
But yeah,
speaking
it
in
was
tongues.
pretty. It was a crazy.
And how long ago did this happen?
I want to say it was. I want to say like 7 or 8 years. I think it was right before I moved to LA.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it would have had to be. So yeah, it's like 8 years, something like that.
Man, that's crazy. You survived.
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
just
And
that's
a blessing.
And then
blessing.
for
yeah,
sure.
and then I just remember like I was just going back. I had to like relearn how to walk. I had to all that shit because my whole nerve system from my spine was so f***ed. So it's like still to this day I still have like problems with like my right side of shit,
Right.
you know, but
You broke your neck, huh? I mean,
C6,
Shit.
C7 f***ing fracture, bro. Just
dude,
it's crazy, man.
those are injuries you do not, you pray you never have.
No
so
fun.
To make it through it, man, is just a blessing, dude.
Gave me a really good perspective on life. It was nice.
I'm sure we could do this whole podcast on that.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we could.
I like to say that the true blessing is that you're here sharing your story.
Yes,
and not a
for
part
sure,
of
dude.
history.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Not a part of history, brother.
And I also want to shout out fucking James and
Yeah.
Win for, all of them, bro. Like they were just right on call, like for everything. Right when it happened, they got the word. They just drove. Right
Well, you
there.
find out when a
I got good
situation
friends. I
like
got
that
really good
happens in
friends,
life
bro.
like that, who your real people are.
I got really good.
You know,
friends.
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That they were there for you.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Thanks for sharing that, bro.
That was deep.
What? That's the first time I've
I
ever
didn't-
talked about it. So.
I never expected.
Well, I
You
was
guys
checking
heard
it
this,
out. And
ComPODres?
I had to ask. I wanted to hear that. So R.I.P.
That's
my
why I was
man.
like, damn,
Yeah,
first
I know,
one. All right,
I
let's get
had
into it.
to. R.I.P. the driver that had the seatbelt on. That's crazy. You don't hear that
Yeah,
often.
that-
Yeah,
yeah.
man. For
That
sure.
was my brother's best friend. That was a really that was a tough one.
Tough
man.
one.
I think my brother's worked through it at this point.
Yeah.
I think. Seems like he has.
Facts. All right.
Another one. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, what is this? You want to read that, P?
Yes.
Causes
Snoop
the
Dogg
what?
cancels
Hollywood strikes.
concert and due to Hollywood strikes.
So
Is
he's siding with the
Writers
the
strike?
writers and
the
the
SAG.
actors. Yeah.
But I I was
For one concert.
I was talking to Mark about this. Like, I'm sure he's in SAG anyways.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also in Hollywood. I think it's kind of cool he's doing it, because like I've talked to Julia about when she was on the pod.
Yeah.
I still think it's crazy that the whole record musician, there's no union or anything for them. So maybe he's trying to, it's good for his face to do something like that. You
Yeah,
know?
it's good for every part of it, right? It's like it's good that he's standing in solidarity with writers and creatives and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But also just ups his image, anyways.
Great
It's beneficial.
publicist.
It's beneficial for him to
Absolutely.
come in and say something.
Agreed. Great publicist for sure. Whoever's running that show.
Yeah.
He's not losing that much money on that, so
No, I think
no,
it's
no.
more about his stand and just want to be
Yeah.
united with everybody. And
He
like I
would-
said, he's a big name, dude. He's an icon. I'm like, I'd love to meet that dude. I mean, he's
right.
he's the man. He's
He
an
wouldn't
actor.
do any concerts if that was the
man.
case. You cancel one.
It's pro.
Oh,
He's,
it is
he's
plural.
doing he's doing them at
Concerts.
Hollywood
So
Bowl.
he's not performing live anymore.
The
Hey
Hollywood Bowl is
nephew,
not.
you
Oh,
ain't
wow.
gonna see me perform no
Oh,
more.
that was ignorant
Till
of
y'all
me.
get this,
Sorry.
going.
Yeah.
It's, him and Dre were supposed
You
to do
heard that,
some
nephew?
tribute to the Chronic or something like that. There.
Oh damn! So that
So
is a lot of money.
that-
That would have
Big-
been a bit.
it's
That would have been
big
big.
Oh,
thing.
wow.
So you know,
That's
due
like
to him
Hollywood
doing
Bowl
this,
type shit.
we'll
All
have to
right.
get some changes and get some results. Hopefully.
Okay, Snoop
Yeah.
D-O-double-G.
I respect it.
Facts.
Respect it.
All right.
Now,
Hey, there it is.
I need to know, brother,
Okay,
Yeah.
let's hear this.
what does this exactly mean to you?
What does it mean to me? I mean, I think long haul hard seltzer means like we finally found a solution to us drinking all the other competition of seltzers. Where it's like, okay, like what are we gonna do? Just keep dumping money into like White Claw and like all these other ones, you know? It's just like, no, let's make our own. That was it. I mean, it's dope to see just it kind of come to fruition, even though, you know, we only have one flavor right now, but I think just seeing it finally come like full force is really dope. And you know, can drink those things all day.
Dude, that
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
that
Bomb.com.
shit's a lot stronger out of the keg.
Oh no. Yeah,
Your
yeah, it
business
is. It
partner
is. It is.
Said the same, similar
Bomb.com.
mirror
Yeah.
answers right there. So
Yeah,
that's
bro.
how you guys feel about it for sure.
It's just nice because it's almost like it kind of just goes right in line with everything that like we're doing as far as Long Haul Studios goes, like Long Haul Music Group. It's just part of the feeling, like the environment. It's like, you know, people sipping on drinks, having a good time. It's like 2023 Jimmy Buffett type shit. You know, it's basically Long Haul Music Group. You know?
Right
So-
on.
In the words of James, Coast is alive.
Yeah, that's right. Coast is alive. Man.
That's dope.
Yeah.
All right, what we got, Mike? Oh yeah.
Pro Tools.
What is it?
Pro Tools.
Pro Tools.
Yeah. I mean, mind you, I'm a little biased because it's all I've ever used. You know, minus FL Studio when I was a toddler. But yeah, no, Pro Tools. That's all I give a fuck about. I use that thing every day. That's all I've ever used.
You know, it's so funny. There's so many people have mixed emotion. Like I've heard so many people be like, Ableton's is, you know, I personally Pro Tools is God to
Well,
me, but-
here's the thing. It's like I'm one of the few producers that actually produces in Pro Tools.
Got you.
Ableton's definitely better for producing.
Right.
There's no doubt. Like just as far as like creating music. You know?
Absolutely.
But because from the very first day I ever made a beat, I was recording somebody on top of it and mixing it, right?
Right.
So it's like Pro Tools is ideal for me because it's definitely the best vocal mixing, vocal mastering, like undoubtedly, right?
Absolutely.
Comping, like all these things. So because I do both, it just made the most sense for me to just have it all right there instead of having to like bounce it out of Ableton
Yep.
and then
That's
load the stems into Pro
Number
Tools
one.
and then like all this shit. You know,
Yep.
it's like I'd rather just do it all right there. And especially because a lot of times I'll make a skeleton of a beat of a song that I'm doing, and then we'll start laying vocals on just the skeleton. So I don't want to bounce out stems and all that shit. Yeah, I don't want to have to finish the beat to go record
Go
vocals
record
on
it.
it.
Yep.
You know, so I like to do it all in real time and not have to be switching too much shit.
Couldn't answer that better, man. That's perfect right there for sure. All right, let's do it, man. That was nice.
I was
That was
gonna,
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
yeah.
still shocked over his story.
I
ain't
know.
gonna fucking lie.
Yeah, I know that's a hard one to follow. Talking about
follow
Steve Harvey
just-
and shit. You know?
Yeah, that was. whew.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
heard. I've heard stories, but not like that. That
Yeah,
was,
it's
wow.
that one was real. That was real life shit right
Real
there.
life shit,
for sure.
So making beats at 14 and stuff. At
Yeah.
that time, who would you say were your I guess
Oh my God.
productional influence?
It was Jay Dilla, MF Doom, Dre, Scott Storch, because you know I came up when fucking Get Rich or Die Trying came out and all that
Facts.
shit. That was like the super producer run, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Black Milk, super hard. Like basically just I got really into underground hip hop early. You know, I was really into like Black Star and just like Strange Fruit Project, like all types of shit like that. So I also like somebody that now I work with named Illmind, right? A producer named Illmind. That was one of my biggest influences in my entire career. And it's like I've just worked with him now, which is really great. You
That's
know,
so
it's
cool.
just so dope to me. But yeah, those are probably my biggest ones. I would say like MF Doom, undoubtedly Jay Dilla, Pete Rock. Yeah, man, that's like
I mean,
those are the ones.
You said it.
Cleaned that up real quick.
Yeah.
People don't talk about MF Doom enough. You know, his just his persona too. I mean,
Yeah.
not outside of his skill set. You know, the helmet with the
Right.
It was
you know,
so cool.
It
bro.
was so
Like,
cool at that time.
I hate that the fact that like more recognition came after the circumstances.
True.
I mean, that's
true.
always
That's
how it is, bro.
And it
Like
is.
post-mortem, every time
Every
you're
time.
always gonna be bigger. You know,
That's
a lot-
why I say love a person while they're here. Don't
Yeah.
show them the love when they're gone. You know.
Yeah,
Valid point.
I saw
Jake?
some hot takes about, you know, it's like this guy went on Instagram. He was talking about like these artists wouldn't be as famous if they didn't die. I was like, damn, okay. It was like Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, and I'm just like, yo, like,
Right, serious.
So that's what you're
Like
trying
shit
to.
like
That's
that.
how you're trying to become like marketing to yourself is going off of past like that. Now, that I
He just
Yeah,
wants to
yeah,
view
yeah.
the click.
Yeah,
You know, that's it.
yeah, it's pretty
It's a
wild.
joke, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
J. Cole said it best, right, on that new song with Lil Durk. You know what he say? You know, let's make that a rule, right? If you didn't follow him before he died, don't follow him after.
Yeah, right.
Facts.
Well,
All right.
somebody should not have to wait until their funeral to know who really cares about them.
That's right.
That's solid right there.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it in a different direction.
Shout
real
out to
quick.
Nor.
Hey, there we go.
Nori, baby.
Hey,
The guy always gets
drink
the flowers.
champs, right?
Yeah.
He
Oh,
does
yeah.
that.
Guy gives the flowers out early.
He does.
Flowers die though, brother. So we give golden nuggets here.
I knew that
we
was
give
coming.
golden nuggets.
Knew that was coming.
What you got?
I was gonna say, if you had a time machine, right, and you could go back to any time, where would you go
80s.
and why?
Real quick.
I want to go back to the 80s.
30, 40 years back.
Take me to the
Yeah.
80s. I want to go to I want to be like, I would love to be like 20 years old in 1980,
Got you.
you know? Just because it just seemed like it was just so much fun and like everybody was just like, just partying, just like, and it was all very like unhinged, you know? It was just like a whole different deal. I just think it would be cool to go back and experience that. I mean, yeah, it depends on how far back we're talking, right?
Hey, wherever
it's
you.
like-
I mean, yeah,
answer.
yeah.
I
Wherever.
would have loved to definitely go back to like Greek times of like Socrates, Plato type
Right,
shit.
yeah.
Or just to be able to like actually see those people in person and hear them talk about their philosophy like in real time and like in person, you know, would be really dope.
That's a good answer.
Living in
Yeah.
those times though would be tough, right?
Actually, surprisingly enough, like how Greece had it at that time period was
Aqueduct
like
and
very
everything.
fucking
Yeah,
good.
that plumbing, pretty
Like,
much, and
yeah.
water flow, and
It was. I mean, yeah. It's like, you know, if you're gonna compare it to like, you know, other ancient civilizations and shit, they had it like very good.
yeah, they did.
You know.
Yeah. What about you guys?
What you got, Joe?
What you?
Oh, prohibition.
Hey, let's hear it.
Damn.
What year
Yeah,
is
you
this?
just
Prohibition,
I can see you with
baby.
a fucking Tommy
No,
gun, just riding the fucking
we
Model
said- we
T,
said-
the
we
Model
said
T
a time
40.
machine. It's just that time in history. Everything. I would just want to see it. I would just want to see how chaotic it was. That's all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a crazy
Bet
time.
it was wild. Bet it was wild.
Over here, I swear to God. I try to be fucking serious about something. You guys twist.
hustling
No, I just want. Like I said,
cigarettes and shit.
I would just like to see it. You know. Because either that or the Roman times or the gladiator times would have been
Yeah,
fun to
that
see.
would have
The
been
gladiator.
That would have been crazy.
Because we've seen the movies, and I went to the Pompeii exhibit out here, and to see the actual gladiator masks,
Oh yeah.
insane, dude.
For
Just
someone
that
who likes
times-
silence, I'm
wild.
surprised you didn't say like a samurai or a ninja.
I told you,
Yeah.
prohibition
Silent
time.
assassin.
It just always intrigued me.
Yeah.
Just
Can you
everything was-
imagine Joe as a samurai?
I know.
I'd be one
Wild.
big ass samurai.
The most feared in the
Yeah,
land.
there you go.
They bring him out for the one-on-one fights.
Right.
Man.
What you got, P?
Because I have a couple of collectible swords just in case
Oh.
you want just in case, you know.
In case you want to dabble.
Right. I mean, you've already said the 80s, which is, you know, a time that I would definitely like to be a part of when it was running, not at the end, because I'm
Yeah.
an 80s baby. I guess the early 90s, man. It was
Really?
yeah. It was a lot of transitioning and stuff that still the 80s was a part of, you know, crisscross, all that, you know, fashion and stuff.
So you wish you were older in the 90s.
I wish
than
I
you
was
were,
older
yeah.
in the 90s, yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, shoot, even the food then, you know, the Big Mac was actually a Big Mac. You know,
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Not like a 2 bite and then you're done.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I guess even the quality of clothes then,
Yeah.
you know, it was
So much things budding at that point, right?
yeah, and then just a style of fashion too. You know, more creative, Not saying people aren't, being creative now. I'm not really into a lot of different things that's going on now, but yeah, bring back the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
Bring them back.
Well, as for my answer, I would just say I don't think black people would like to go too further back than that.
No. No.
Just to be real with you.
Unless we can go back and change some
stuff.
shit.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. That'd probably be about the era I would, if I did. I wouldn't definitely want to go back to any further back. The Prohibition, I'm straight. I mean, it'd be cool to see those times, but in reality, it's tough for our opinion.
There was some fucked up shit.
Yeah,
going on,
hell yeah, dude. So yeah, I'm glad I was born in the era I was. So for sure.
I would like to see the excitement of when people first experienced electricity, like
that
change.
Yeah,
of
there's
that.
so many.
I would like to see that.
I would like if we could just those little moments, wouldn't have to live in those times. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see all that, but I wouldn't want to live in any of those times. Absolutely not. I couldn't do it.
I will say too, like one period that I wish I really would have experienced was like kind of like the Rat Pack, like Frank Sinatra, like Vegas times, where it's like where you have to like wear a suit to go to Vegas.
Yeah,
like I wish I would have experienced.
Not swinger style.
Yeah, right.
You said wearing a suit to go to Vegas. That sounds very mob ties.
There you go back to Prohibition.
There he goes on Prohibition again.
Just something classier where people used to have to dress up to go do shit. Now it's like you rolling with fucking flip flops, wife beater, and it's like, come on over here. We have a table for you.
Facts.
Now,
No, I mean, he's exactly right on that.
Yeah.
But, you wouldn't see me wearing a wife beater like that. It's like when you see girls that be wearing skimpy shit and they don't look good. It's like me. I don't want to see me in a wife beater. Hell no.
No, mind you,
never know.
I've gone on like 3-day benders in Vegas where I've worn nothing but flip flops and a wife beater. So it is what it is.
And you had the big
But
drink.
I'm just saying, that's because I adjusted to the times. Okay? I don't live in 1960. I live in 2023 where I can do that shit. All right?
So true, man.
okay.
So here it comes, man. This is what I like to say when I have a guest.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
If you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
One thing in the world. Well, as far as it like applies to my situation, I would say probably writers getting paid more. Writers and producers getting like their fair share of the shit. I'm just talking about specifically like music industry shit.
Right.
I think it's practical.
Right.
But yeah, bro, it's like writers, producers, people that even artists like have just been getting completely since the inception of the music industry, and it's just like, let's figure that shit out. It's not. There's no more CDs. There's no more, vinyl records like sold on like a mass scale. It's like, let's catch up with the times. It's like we should be getting more because streaming pays less. It's like you don't need labels anymore. They're not a necessity.
Right.
So I get why they were able to take so much. Take 85-90% of the master back in the day because you didn't have any other options to release music.
Truth.
But now you have every option to release music independently.
Yeah.
And we don't need labels anymore. So they need to come up off that master because that shit is just like it's they're still stuck in 1990.
Flip that, Ricky.
And it's only just because that it's been that way forever. It's like old rules break slow type deal. But, thank God there's a lot of like legislation going through right now that's like really pushing for, writers and producers. So, and artists too.
Yeah. I heard something really crazy, dude, to piggyback off that. I heard I was listening to this guy speak and, it's really eloquent and it stuck with me. He said 85% of the world are followers. 10% of the world are creators and 5% are observers, right? And the people who fall into the observer category are the guys like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, people that see everything, right? Then you got your creators, then you have your followers. And it makes no sense to me how such a small percentage of people are getting over in this game of being a creative soul and a creative mind, right? Those followers, they're there for a reason, right? You fall under that category. So, yeah, man, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
I totally agree. 100%.
I second that.
So there's never been like people never get together and try to get the contracts out, like just cap it. I mean, like the unions do. I mean, no
they
big
try.
names have ever done that and tried to put it all together.
Well, no, I mean, here's the
got that
thing:
money,
we
baby.
legally can't unionize because we're sole proprietors. We're not working for anybody except
Nobody.
ourselves, so we can't unionize.
It's just crazy to me.
And they
Like
got
not
all
even
that
like
money,
a
bro.
SAG-AFTRA, right? You know, it's like we can't even be. We're not a part of like a bigger organization that can unionize. So because we're all just considered just on our own, we can't do really much like legally as as a strike goes or something like that. So, it seems I've been seeing a big push from a lot of people, going to Congress and writers getting together and producers getting together and trying to say like, okay, look, if we band together and say we need to demand this, then hopefully like the label will just do it.
Give in.
Because at the end of the day, they do need our permission to be able to put the song out.
They do.
So I mean, but the problem is that a lot of people are just like, well, if this doesn't go through, I need that money.
Yep.
So like, if this doesn't go through, then I can't pay rent. So like, this one person on the song might say, no, not gonna do it. But then the other one's like, no, we're gonna do it. And then you kind of get f***ed because they only need permission technically from one other person on the song to push it through.
That's how it goes, man.
So it's a weird situation, but I think it's starting to work itself out. There's been enough uproar now. There's a lot of social media push behind the big name writers that are starting to come out and speak out against this shit. But it's gonna change soon. They're gonna have to.
Have to.
I hope they do. I mean, it's
We just gotta keep putting
long
our fucking
overdue.
foot down.
It's just like any protest or strike or anything you want to compare it to. It's everybody's got to be on the same page, or but people got to feed their families too. So there's so many perspectives from it. So
I will say one more thing about this too is that the immediate thing that you can change, just like on your own, if you're a producer, just when you get a producer fee, pay your writers, pay your writer a part of that at least. Because a lot of producers just take it all and they go, oh yeah, thanks. Like we'll get you on the back end,
Right.
and it's just like
That shit takes forever.
it
Doesn't
takes
it?
forever, bro.
Back in my
if
ass.
anything,
If at all, if you actually do get the check,
kidding me?
you have to hound these fucking
Yes.
labels to even get any money from them, even if it's owed to you.
So true, dude.
It's if you're a producer and you get a sync fee, just break off your writers. It just makes everything so much easier. You'll be able to keep working with them, and they're not going to feel salty or some type of way. So just make sure.
Good message right there. Man.
Right. So it's time to dive into something that I want to dive
Oh
into.
yeah, let's
quick.
hear it. Let's
do
hear
it.
it. What do you got?
So I'm big lover of love, especially when it's done correctly.
Good.
a love over
love
love.
you
I
guys.
love that
Love
saying,
you guys.
bro. That's dope, dude.
Relationship and
love.
everything, and I just want to say, throughout you guys' incredible lifestyles and journeys, how do you guys still maintain to keep you guys' love insane, in a good way? In a good way.
Nice. I like how you rhymed it too.
Yeah, trying.
I would say we actually every single day try to work at it too. Like we actually like put in the effort to try to have the best relationship that we can. It doesn't just happen naturally.
Yeah.
It's like, we're like listening to audiobooks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's what it takes.
Yeah.
That's really what it takes. And it's just like if you start to learn more about somebody, and then you also start to learn the things that like don't get said, nonverbal communication stuff, like stuff like love languages and like different stuff like that. It
Right.
sounds cheesy on the surface of it, but then if you just throw your ego out the window and just be like, okay, look, what do I actually care about? I want my relationship to be as good as it could possibly be. So I'll listen to all the corny and cheesy shit to make sure that happens, you know? And because that's really all I care about. I just care that our shit is going to be solid and I don't have to worry about nothing after that.
Half the times the corny shit that works is
That
stuff
is.
that should have
That's
been
what I mean.
implied in the beginning.
You get older, you
Because
understand that.
Because
yeah.
like, look, shit's only corny if it's inauthentic.
Right.
If it's authentic and you actually are coming from a place of love, then it's not corny.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, whereas if somebody's like just posting cheesy, corny shit so that they can get like followers or something on social media, like
Living
that's
for likes.
Sure, But I'll do all like the little corny, cheesy shit I want to, as long as my relationship is solid.
Hey,
I often tell people,
listen to that, y'all.
you like corn, you like corn on the cob, candy corn, what type of corn you want.
Right? Listen to that.
Let him know, Sugar P.
Hey, I'm trying.
I gotta throw that out just because of the connection with Mr. James K. Everything,
Yeah, man.
That's
you
very
get older,
heartful. What
man.
you said is very real, and I think sometimes relationships should be simple.
Yeah, they should.
And a lot of times they're not, and that's why you got to get out. And then some of us stick around too long, and then we beat ourselves up and da 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 da. So I liked what you said, and I think that's very heartfelt, and everybody should listen to that message.
Also, too, you got to pick the right person. Like if
Absolutely.
you're trying to force something when it's like out the gate, it probably wasn't gonna work. Then that doesn't make any sense. But it's like if you know, like, okay, like I've been dating this person for a few weeks now, and I could kind of see a future with them. Like, you know, it can't be like you could just pick up some like random streetwalker and try to, you know, like just make a housewife.
I don't know, that might work for some of us.
It can't be physical.
some shit.
It just can't be a
we can't.
physical.
It's like,
it has to
and then
be
you're like,
mental.
you know what? We're gonna try all this stuff to make a relationship better. It's like
Facts.
it's not what it is.
It's like, you
exactly.
know, the main foundations is, you know, understanding and patience.
Yeah, that's
Be
big.
understanding
Yeah.
that people are human, they're gonna make mistakes and stuff like that.
Yep.
And there's gonna be ups and downs, but also be patient with the process.
Yeah.
Because just as well as you're gonna need it, you're gonna want to basically give it to somebody else too.
Nice.
So
And you can learn those things too. You
Yeah.
can learn patience. You know.
Yeah.
I would say that I typically have a very long fuse, you know, and also from a young age really was focused on trying to do like meditation, spiritual shit like that. So like I've been able to kind of lengthen my fuse as much as I can to just make sure that there's really never any blow ups, and thank God she has a long fuse too.
Right.
You know, like because
Well, that's why it works.
That's why it works.
I go off the
I
script
can
a lot
imagine,
of times.
right?
he goes off grid.
When that fuse is out, both of you. When that
I
fuse
can,
is
I, can
there,
get, I can get out of character on occasion. On occasion, not all the time, but when I do, you know, she's still like patient with
That's
me and is
dope.
able to kind of understand.
Well, man, it's going to come with maturity when you get older. I haven't gotten blown up or pissed off in a long time. I'm older, and I just know how to. It's been a long time.
You know I'm about to hit it over the head then.
It's been a long time.
I personally think that age doesn't determine maturity.
Well, okay.
Maturity is determined by experience.
Well,
and
we're all different on this.
mindset.
What I've
What's
seen,
your
I
pace,
think
your
people
partner
grow
and
and grow and grow.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain age, you don't let little shit bother you anymore.
yeah.
That comes with
Mindset,
The growing.
yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's growing because I've been told before that
Uh-oh.
I have
Show off the blues.
that I have the patience of a saint. And when I heard that,
I told you that.
when I heard that
For
shit,
real. Who that told you
do
that?
ya?
I don't remember her name. I don't remember her name. And I
Their
do.
favorite movie was The Lion King, by the way.
And I do. I have patience, but I didn't at the time. I didn't.
funny.
And when she
You
said
have.
it, I was like, "You out your damn mind?"
Hey, I will say too, you know, shout out my pops too, because I never saw my pops ever yell at my mom.
Oh,
that was
that's
a big
cool.
thing. That
That's
was a
cool.
really big thing. You know,
That's
he
dope.
made it a point to never show like aggression, you know, towards
Right.
my mom around us. You know,
That's good.
and
That's good.
so I think that's a big part of where I get it from too.
Yeah.
Great upbringing.
Right. I wanted to kind of segue into this. So, what would you tell people, listeners at home, what would you tell them, like, as far as like they're afraid of being afraid, right? I think
Afraid
you're
of
the
being
perfect.
afraid.
I think you're the perfect person for that answer right there.
Afraid of being afraid.
Yes.
So as far as like
Anything in life, you can
Yeah, so
apply it to whatever.
like afraid of chasing after a dream and being afraid while you're doing that.
Or-
So I mean,
yeah.
I would say like if I frame it in that sense, right? It's that all your potential is sitting literally on the edge of your limit. You know,
Right.
So you have to be able to. The thing that scares you the most, that is your edge. You have to be able to go there and like look over the cliff, and you don't even have to necessarily like jump, but just like hang out at that edge and like go for your shit. And then as you start to do those things, the edge gets further and further. But like if you don't even make that initial first walk over to the edge to look down, then you don't have any chance of doing anything. You'll stay in your hometown your whole life, you know.
Whole life.
So that's what I would say. Just like understand that your fear is your compass. Like whatever you're most afraid of is what you should pursue, because it's gonna show you everything you need to know about yourself. So
That was some positivity, man. Because we're going right into that.
Right? I mean, a lot of people are afraid of. That's a good statement. I think Nipsey Hussle said it, right? And probably people before that, but. It's crazy, man. Yeah, that's a good way to answer it there. Yeah. What do you think, Pete?
And we are at the positive period of the podcast where we leave the ComPODres with some positivity until next week. With that you just said though, I don't know how you on topic, brother. But please leave the compadres at home, watching and listening with some positivity.
Yeah, I would say just whatever the passion is in your life, like go after it full force. Don't leave anything behind. You got to go just balls to the wall at whatever you want to make your life realize to. It's like if you really at the deepest part of yourself want something bad enough, you should really just go for it. And that's really all I can say about that. You just got to go for it.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
It should resonate with people.
It better.
So
It better. I don't hope it better.
Yeah.
Anybody else, or do you guys want me to go first?
You go first, big dog.
Yes. Okay, so I kind of got two things, but I'm going to wrap this up really quick.
Man, get it.
One of them is uncomfortable. People need to get more uncomfortable.
Okay.
We are relaxing too much in comfort zones and allowing time to go by as if it's going to happen, which goes into my next one. Grateful. Be grateful for the moment that is now, because tomorrow and the next moment's not promised.
Nice.
So, every moment, not to say every moment counts, but it does count. So be grateful of this moment, that moment, every moment, because nothing's ever promised. And that's it.
Good.
Nice.
I love that.
Joey Mitz.
Let's see.
I think people would be in a lot better place if they didn't want to discuss and think they can change the world when they can't, and they need to change themselves. I think we stress too much on what's going on in the world, and yes, there's big problems, but at the end of the day, take care of yourself and your own problems, your own issue. Don't worry about anybody else. And you're only going to get there by growth, like we've talked about before, And I think it goes on a lot, and it's strange to me how people get stressed out over certain things they have no control over at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're going to have something going on in November, and again, it's about one person that don't give a about anybody, but especially about you, and you need to just take care of you. And there are people around you, because they drop like flies at the end of the day, bro. You only have that. I've talked about this so much, and it's just I'm seeing it more and more. Like I can't control everything. I can control what I do and the decisions I make.
Hey, Joe, have you heard of Jordan B. Peterson?
Yeah.
So what he says, he's like, hey, it's really funny that you want to go out and change the world. Is your room clean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Facts.
Seriously.
you better,
Straight up.
you better figure yourself out before you go try to make a
do
massive
everything
change.
else, yeah.
Like, if you can't even
you.
take care of, because
That's
you're
so
just
good.
an individual. So it's like, if you can't take care of one person, how are you going to take care of the world?
It's
so
it's
good.
like
Go figure
simple
it
things
out.
we talked about
So
before.
good.
There's some shit I just don't give a shit
Fucking
about.
room clean? Is your
Yeah.
bed made?
Yeah, you know what I
Did
mean?
you brush your
Do you got,
I know
is
too
it
many people who
spoiled
get
food
up
in the refrigerator?
and they check their phone before they even brush their
Oh
teeth.
God,
Like, are you
that's-
serious?
that's how it goes.
I have it on the other side of the room for that reason.
Well, that's the best thing you're supposed to do. Though people can't sleep because they look at their damn phone. I put that thing in the corner sometime. Like this, I don't want to
Dude,
see it.
I try. I'm bad at that. Dude.
It's so like when you're so because I'm working on time, so like I'm always on alarm, so I'm always like popping to the phone to make sure I didn't oversleep or something.
Right? No, I get that point of it, but I mean, it's just like everybody.
I get what you're
yeah.
saying. Instagram and YouTube and all that.
Well, I do the alarms too, but the reason why I keep it on the other side of the phone is because it forces me to get up to
You mean
turn
the
the
other side of the
alarm.
room?
It
You mean
makes
the
me
room,
get
other
up.
side of
It
the
makes
room,
You
me
mean
so
on the other
like
side of the room?
yeah. So
Well, Preston's really good at not having to have an alarm. He just naturally.
I'm
gets
up at 4 all the
It's
time.
crazy to me.
Well, the dude don't sleep. He probably got insomnia the worst out of anybody in this room.
No, I actually been sleeping pretty good
Well, that's
lately.
good. That's
Been
good.
sleeping pretty good, even though I was tired as hell
Yeah.
yesterday.
You get that apple juice
Walking
going.
dead. Hey man.
Some
Don't
people
mess
do
with my apple
coffee. He
juice.
does that fruit juice. Wake him up.
I don't do coffee. I don't do energy drinks and stuff like that. So
Missing
just,
out.
Nah, man. I'm gonna show you
Celsius.
a video.
Don't hang out with Julia though.
Celsius,
You know she
Celsius.
likes that coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee or tea?
Julia,
Coffee.
Julia's like Andrew Tate. She's like 15 to 20 cups of coffee a day.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
A lot of people, successful people, are. They're like two espressos.
it's good for you. It's good for you.
Yeah. That's crazy.
What you got?
Get money, bitches. Just being
Oh.
funny. I'm just.
Yeah.
Yo. We're bringing that to the Patreon, ladies and gentlemen.
It's funny. I don't know.
All right, compadres, we're at the time where
Everybody
you
was
know
so
what
positive.
to do.
I mean, what
That-
am I doing?
We still positive.
Right.
Right.
Just not a couple positive things. I'll say that another time. It's at ComPODres. And to my right, the ill son himself.
I am _ill son.
And also to my right, the real Joe Rosati himself.
That's me. Da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Da-da-da-da. There we
And
go.
also,
that was a big one.
let everybody know your handles and everything. Your Instagram handle, dope as hell,
It
bro.
is.
So let them know.
Works. So yeah, at Ross Keep Making Hits. You know, Sean Ross is the name, but yeah, at Ross Keep Making Hits is the IG handle. So follow me.
Yeah. Where else can
bitches.
they find you at too, bro?
I mean, that's all I use.
That's
I'm not like a Twitter guy. I'm
right.
not
Yeah.
Facebook or anything.
Facebook or anything.
He's a
Find
one
me on
and done.
IG or don't find me at all. That's
I
fine
hear
too.
that TikTok or anything. I get that for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, well, hey, you can go follow us on TikTok at Sync Money. That's like our kind of like educational, informational page for producers and writers. So
Dope.
That's actually really dope. We have like over 250 videos on there. So
Dope.
if you want to learn
Right
some
on.
shit, hop on there.
Hell yeah, man.
Y'all heard it, compadres. Learn something out there. That's the TikTok, by the way.
Yep.
And I am your host, SB Press. And like that, compadres,
I
we're
need
going.
all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets,